Доброго дня.
Good afternoon. The floor is given to the floor is given to the spokesman of administration of President of Ukraine, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, dear journalists. Now, the events that happened in the ATO area during last 24 hours. In Lugansk area, the enemy violated ceasefire 6 times. There were 5 provocations in the region of Popasna and Bakhmutovska highway. These were non-precision firing. Also, in the course of enemy fire on the left bank of Severska Donetsk near Sokelniki village, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was wounded. In the Donetsk area, the situation remains the same. The hottest area is Avdiivka production area. The enemy uses mortars and grenade launchers and sniper rifles there. Ukrainian servicemen had to repeatedly return fire. The enemy also was active in the region of Donetsk airport. There, the militants launched about 40 mines at Ukrainian positions. Provocations of the enemy continue in the northern suburbs of Gorlovka and also to the west of this town. The situation is calm, and also in the evening enemy sniper was active in Novgorodsk. Also in Svetlodarsk Bulge, there was 1 enemy provocation with the use of grenade launcher and small arms. It lasted for 2 hours. During last 24 hours in the Donetsk area, there were 19 enemy shellings. In Mariupol area, the enemy was increasingly active. There were 46 shellings of our positions. That is 3 times more than the day before, from which half was with the use of heavy weapons. These are mortars and cannons. And the most active, the enemy was near Shirokino village. Starting from noon till sunset, the militants launched about 50 mortar mines and 40 artillery shells at our positions. And also the enemy used artillery near Novotroitsk. And also that day, enemy sniper was active, and later in the evening, the militants shelled ATO forces with use of grenade launchers of different systems of machine guns. And the situation was tense in Mariinka. The enemy used different types of weapons, except artillery and tanks. There, the militants, with the use of small arms, fired at a checkpoint, and fortunately, no one was killed or wounded. And in Krasnogorivka, the militants delivered 2 mortar shellings, and these were during the day and in the evening. Also, there were some violations of ceasefire at the line of confrontation Chermalik-Lebedinsk. Ukrainian servicemen also observed 3 flights of enemy air drones in the ATO area. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed. That happened in Avdiivka production area in the course of enemy shellings, and also 6 Ukrainian servicemen were wounded. 5 were wounded in the course of enemy shellings, and 1 Ukrainian serviceman was wounded near Starognativka because of the booby trap. Also the losses of the enemy: 9 militants were killed and 8 wounded from 4 militant groups. The biggest losses of the militants were in the region of Shirokino. In the course of patrolling near Vodyane, our servicemen seized 8 militants from so-called 9th Detached Assault Motorized and Rifle Regiment of Marines, and they identified these militants. These were Sergei Pestryaev, 1967, Alexei Tolstaluk, 1980, Yuri Izyumin, 1981, Vitaly Shemilov, 1995, Anton Garbushka, 1978, Valentin Vantula, 1975, Roman Ternovy, 1980. Ruslan Andrilevsky, 1988. So the oldest of the militant was 49 and the youngest 21. And the officers of tactical staff Donetsk helped local residents in Donetsk on the eve of the Day of Constitution. 20 families from 4 villages, Volnovazhsko, Mariinska and Pokrovsky regions, they got food and potable water and sweets for kids. In Zaporizhia, there were some trainings for National Guardsmen. They were trained in defending state facilities and institutions. The example of Zaporizhska city administration. They were completing their task, and there were some separate training for commanders to take decisions about the defense and freeing of facilities in case they are seized by the militants. Also, trucks with humanitarian help from charitable organization went through Zaitsevo checkpoint, and they brought some food for children, about 1.5 tons, and some equipment. So do you have some questions? Yuri Bondarenko, 1+1 channel, about these 8 people who were detained. So what about their citizenship? And was someone killed in the course of their detention? I do not have details. Now investigation is on the way. And SBU identifies the citizenship and the origin. So this information will be provided later by SBU. Do you have other questions? If there are no questions, thank you and goodbye.